Hey everybody, it's Kay. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hello, my name is Kay. I'm a professional home organizer and soprano here in the Boston area, and I am here to inspire you to live a more organized life. So today we're gonna do a really fun video. Well, I think it's fun anyway. You might not think it's fun, but I'm gonna talk about 5 organizing lessons I learned from working at the Container Store. Now, I've made it no secret on my channel that I am a proud former Container Store employee. I've spent 7 years working there as an employee, as a salesperson, as a closet designer, as a merchandise processor. I did a lot of things. I even did inventory and like order processing. I did a bunch of things at the Container Store. It was so fun. Like when I went there every day, I was like, what am I gonna do today? And then I spent a couple of years being a consultant, actually working as a contract employee, going out and selling alpha systems, helping customers organize their homes, and it was really, really fantastic. Working for a retail establishment has its ups and downs. That is totally true. You work weird hours. You have to deal with the general public, which is sometimes not super fun. But in general, I can say Container Store was the best retail job I have ever had, and I have had a lot of them. I've sold all kinds of things. I've sold candles, I've sold bath gel, I've sold lingerie, I've sold makeup and skincare. I've sold a lot of things, and the Container Store was the most fun I've had on a sales floor ever. But being that they have organizing products and that they specialize in selling organizing products and closet systems, can you actually learn any organizing things from just selling the products? And the answer is surprisingly yes. The first thing I took away from being an employee at the Container Store was that the term and that the concept of backstock is actually something that you can apply to your home and should apply to your home, especially if you buy a lot of things in bulk. The first sort of phase in my journey as a Container Store employee was actually merchandise processing, in which you arrive at your job at 5 a.m., merchandise the shelves with new product that has arrived either last night or that morning, and you stay in merchandise until 9 a.m. It sounds like hell on earth, but in truth, it was actually pretty fun, and I learned to really appreciate it. It was really hard to get up at 4 a.m. and sleepily make a cup of coffee and then get to the store, but actually there was a great sort of system that they worked where you had to sort of go down the aisle as a team, and there was a whole process. You would merchandise the shelves with a certain amount of products, and they had to look a certain way. And whatever you didn't have room to merchandise would go up on the top of the shelving unit or in a really high shelf that customers couldn't reach. And this was known as backstock. When I go to clients' houses to help them organize, sometimes I notice that they are storing an extraordinary amount of things in the same space where they need to access them all the time. So they'll take up the entire pantry with, 17 bags of chips. Now, do you need access to 17 bags of chips all of the time? I mean, maybe, but most likely not. You'll need to have access to maybe 1 or 2 bags of chips, and the other bags of chips, I think you can store way out of the way. You don't need to have them at your arm's length. Everything that you need on a daily basis and that you touch at an arm's length is valuable real estate. Anything extra that you're not using, like extra rolls of toilet paper, can be stored somewhere else. Of course, this goes with the caveat is if you have room for backstock. Living in a small space like me, we came from a 1-bedroom apartment, and now we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. We have a little more room, but we still don't have a lot of room to, go to Costco and buy, 30 rolls of toilet paper, but we have a little more room. When we run out of toilet paper in the bathroom, we go and we get toilet paper from the backstock shelves. When I'm saying this out loud, it sounds kind of stupid. Duh, you should have space allocated to, extra things, including if you buy extra cans of things or extra water bottles or extra, packages of flour. But when I go to clients' houses, I find a lot of that stuff is just all kept in the same place. So I'm thinking somebody has to hear it. Number 2 is that touching items one time is probably the most efficient way to deal with them. In my morning merchandising adventures, there was a very, very organized system run by a really fantastic lady who was kind of militaristic and scary, but she was very efficient and got the job done. And I was afraid of her for a few months, but at the end of our working together, she was one of my favorite people. I loved her so much, because if she caught you doing the most inefficient thing, she would let you know, and there would be a no nonsense way that she would let you know. So she was a little bit scary, but I loved her so much. So there's a whole system where you would open a box of product, you dumped it out, you got rid of the box, and then you put the product on the shelf, and with the rest of the products that you didn't have room for, you leave them alone until you're done with the entire aisle. And then you go down the aisle and backstock. It was a whole system, but it only involved you touching items one time. So you didn't put the item on the shelf and then all of a sudden get your ladder out and go put items on backstock. You think you're making a better decision about like efficiency, but you're not. You're not. You just really just do the merchandising, go down the line, and then you would do the backstock and go down the line, and it was much more efficient. The same thing can apply to the stuff in your home, and it helps to establish good habits about touching items once. If someone comes and walks in the door and they have their coat and they throw it on the chair, and they have their shoes and they throw them on the side of the hallway, and they're like, I'll put those away later, that becomes really inefficient, and it tends to make piles of things add up. So the act of actually putting your coat away and the act of actually putting your shoes on the shoe rack can save you so much time and effort. Because the one thing I like to say to clients, and the one thing I like to say to myself, because let's admit, I am human and sometimes I am lazy, but the one thing I like to say to myself that helps me is it's gonna take as much effort and energy to do it now than it is to do it later. So when I choose to do it now, I can get it over with, it's done. Even if it's something as simple as like hanging your coat up in the closet, you really should do it now, because later you can be lazy and just hang out. It is doing some like weird weather outside. It's like sleeting, snowing, I don't know. Welcome to New England in November. What is happening?
Like, what is this? Do you see that white stuff? What is this? What is this? Why?
Number 3, one of the biggest ways you can cheat something looking neat, I mean, it's not really a cheat, it actually does work, is actually just make everything uniform. This involves uniform hangers, uniform shelving, uniform everything. If things are uniform, they look really neat. Whenever we were putting together displays at the store, there's a very specific way that they were supposed to look, and we would, open packs of hangers. And I noticed that in the closet displays, all of the hangers were exactly the same style or the same color. And it made everything look really neat. And that's the easiest way to make your closet look neat if it looks kind of crazy. If you have all different colors, styles, shapes of hangers, it can look really, really chaotic. But the easiest thing you can do to make your closet look neater is to just have uniform hangers. You didn't do anything. You might not have even decluttered. You just like got uniform hangers and poof, neat closet. This also applies to the way that things are organized. I found the same coworker who helped me with morning merchandising let me know that there is actually a method for merchandising in which every handle on a product has to be to the right. So I started actually using this in my own home when I would mess around with mugs in my pantry. My mugs are all like different shapes and sizes, but when all of the handles are to the right, they suddenly look neater, as if they have just organized themselves. It's really weird. So any way you can get uniformity is going to help you have the appearance of neatness, even if they're not as neat as you would probably like them. The 4th thing I've learned, and I learned it a lot as a person on the sales floor and as a person who went and helped people after the fact, is that people who buy organizing solutions before they've started and finished their project are doing it backwards. This means before you have actually decluttered your space and figured out how you want to organize the items that are remaining there, that's when you go shopping. But I found when I was an employee, I would have a lot of people come into the store and buy a lot of different organizing solutions and then go home and either not unpack them at all. That's what I would find when I was an organizer actually helping people in their homes. I would go and I would see big bags from Container Store with products still with their tags on and the receipt in there and stuff, and I was like, oh, what's this? And they were like, yeah, I was gonna organize that drawer, but I didn't. When you go and buy products as your first step, you're really not helping yourself know what the right things are to buy. Like, let's say I'm organizing my closet and I want to buy all new hangers, and I go and declutter my closet and find out I only need like 50 hangers. But if I go and buy all that stuff before I declutter my closet, I might buy 100 hangers and 40,000 shoe boxes and some shelf risers and all kinds of other stuff that I actually don't need, or maybe even doesn't fit. That's the worst. Now, full disclosure, Container Store is very upfront about like, yes, please buy more products than you need and then bring back the ones that don't work for you. That's totally fine, but that doesn't work for everyone. And not everyone is gonna take the time to put the products that didn't work back in the bag. And what if nothing fits? What if you went and bought all the stuff and nothing fits? Like it's the wrong size drawer organizer, or it's like the hangers the door doesn't close when you put the hangers in there. Then what are you gonna do? Then you're like all bummed out. So I always want to encourage people to organize and declutter first and then go out and have a shopping spree. It's more fun that way anyway. The last thing I learned while working at Container Store is that organization is a skill that can be learned. Again, I am upfront to tell you that I was not an organized child growing up. I had a messy room. I was a piler and I knew where things were in the pile, but my room was messy, and my mom and I actually used to have huge fights about my room. She would come in and be like, your room's a mess, you need to clean this up. And I'm like, but I know where things are. So I was not a very neat person. And actually in my early 20s, when I had my first apartment, it was a mess for like, a little while, and then I would clean it up and then it wouldn't really stay neat. It would just kind of gradually deteriorate. So organization is a skill that can be learned and actually also can be taught. And not everyone is super gifted at this. I feel like it's kind of like math, like I can learn math, but I'm not about to like be a math major. Calculus was a struggle, but I learned basic calculus and I learned enough to sort of pass. You know what I'm saying? So if you're having trouble setting up systems in your house, don't feel like you can't do it. Just go ahead and it's a trial and error process. And if you need help, go ahead and consult someone like a professional organizer or a friend who's a better organizer than you. Or there's a whole YouTube channel dedicated to organizing. I wonder what that one is. Okay, that's all I had to say for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I loved working at the Container Store. I thought it was so much fun. My favorite part about it actually was designing alpha closets for customers. When the alpha sale happened, like once or twice a year, I would just stand in front of a computer and like customers would be in a line. They'd be like, next, let's do your master closet. And it was just so fun, even though it was super tiring. I loved it. I am obsessed with closets and all that stuff. If you guys like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. I publish videos on home organizing and cleaning, and there is a very cute dog that you should also subscribe for. Every subscription feeds a cavalier. So I hope you guys are having a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.